So in the beginning of the episode, we actually saw another team, Team 40, which are Inko, Doso, and Suru, are actually trying to do a rescue mission, which rescuing a small rabbit, which Dosho and Suru are actually trying to do it, but it ran away because it actually was afraid. But what's actually more afraid is that Inko actually has a secret, which her hands are actually was gloved. But all of a sudden, she felt a enormous amount of chakra when she actually transformed because of her hands, in which she actually was transformed into a monstrous beast, and she actually attacking her teammates, which Suru had to restrain her with her hair. Then Dosho actually used metal rings to do so as well. But it won't work, so they had to use a tranquilizer dart to actually sedate her. But they actually feared that she might not actually survive the next rampage, in which they actually heard about the Onikuma technique that was actually passed down to clan. But for some reason, she cannot control it because something was actually making her lose control. So we actually knew that Inko actually using her family's technique, but Dusho and Suru actually are afraid, and because of that rampage, their leader was actually injured. So they actually get a new leader, which is actually by a man named Ibiki Morino. And he's actually the leader of the interrogation and torture corps, which they actually heard about him, in which he using his torturing methods to torture his enemies, in which he is interested in Inko and her technique. But he actually disbanded Team 40, but we actually knew that they cannot control their fears, but they need to learn to overcome their fears. Because after when Ibiki showing them his head, which is actually filled with scars, and that's why they are terrified. So Boruto, Sarada, and Miski are going to have Dosho and Shoru to control their fears, which Sarada showing them a movie, which is actually called Night Circus, and even she was actually terrified. But that doesn't actually terrify Dosho and Suru. But Misi actually suggests to control your fear is to actually have to face your fear head on. So in order to face Inko when she loses control, they have to learn how to confront their fears face to face. And so they actually went to a zoo where they actually met a giant wolf. And even though they actually tried to actually confront their fears, but on the outside, they actually trying to. But inside, which their brains and thoughts actually wanted to try it, they actually keep telling them to get the hell out of that cage. And that's how they didn't actually stick to the training. But they actually met a cat, and so the cat was afraid of them. Meanwhile, we saw how Inko was terrified because of her hands, but she actually realized that she needs to figure out what's causing the rampage, in which we saw Ibiki actually telling her about her problems, in which her rampaging starts back up again, and she actually loses control. But now she actually trying to figure out what. But Ibiki telling the team that they're going to retain her, and if using the tranquilizers won't work, they have no other option but to cut her arms off. So Dosho and Suru are trying to figure out what's what's going to happen, in which fear is what actually is going to happen. But they actually figure out what's causing her to lose control. It's because she was actually learned that it actually triggered by loneliness, which in her mind is actually because of loneliness is what's got her to lose control. And being lonely won't is actually a bad thing, and also how people lose control. So Dosho and Suru are confronting Inko, which she actually broke down in tears, and she actually learned to control it and remove the loneliness. And with that, they've learned to overcome their fears, in which Ibiki actually was impressed, even so, of being their new leader, as they successfully managed to save a rabbit, and with the help of Inko's new controlled arms. Now, we actually see this team, Team 40, of how Inko controlling her arms, which they also have to learn to control their fears. And I'm actually impressed at how they actually did it. So I'm actually gonna see what's gonna happen on the next episode next weekend. So anyway, like this video, subscribe for more, and comment on what you think about the episode. You guys can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, and like my Facebook page. Until then, it's Anime God during here saying signing out. Laters!